Ahoy kids, Slacker Cut here, returning with the What Are We Fighting For? Today we have with us, returning.
Oh, Josh.
We continue to be good at this whole
sure
name thing.
You said, well, you said returning with us, and that could have been me, or.
That's true. That's true. This is Joan. I am a little distracted. I've got Animal Crossing, and I'm putting down pads in my town, so I'm trying to get that done before we start. And it hasn't worked.
Totally on the ball today.
It hasn't.
And standing in for TV dinner, we have.
Hey, I'm Chris, and I have decided that if I'm going to have any hope of paying attention to this at all, that I cannot play Skyrim tonight.
No.
That would just be a disaster.
I'm so sorry I've interrupted everyone's busy schedule of playing video games so we can get together and play video games.
It's all good.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
It's called multitasking, guys.
Jesus, I should just, start up Phoenix Wright here on my 3DS, while I'm playing
you might
Adventure.
as well, just before the crew.
I want to be cool like everyone else.
So you can
You
game
lame
while you
piece of shit.
game.
I've sadly done that before. I've played WoW and had Phoenix Wright going at the same time. That's...
You know what, though? In your defense, WoW can be pretty fucking boring if you don't have something else going on, especially if you're grinding.
Yeah, and I roleplay, so...
And this is
sad.
why I don't play that game.
There's a reason why they gave you options to have puzzle games during your flight travel time.
Wasn't Bejeweled on there at one point, too?
Yes.
Yep.
So...
That's pretty sad. We need to entertain you while you're playing this game with another game so that we can have your subscription on me for another month.
Alright, so today we're covering the Atari 2600 and we're doing adventure games. And when you're doing adventure games, why not start out with adventure?
Hooray.
Doesn't this already scream adventure to you? Look at that.
It does, though.
Is that you? Are you the one? No, you became two.
Alright, F2. There we go. So no, I am the tiny little dot.
Oh, there you go.
Little yellow block.
And one is easy mode. I actually know how to beat this, if I can actually pull this off correctly. Adventure has the one interesting thing is that you can pick up an item, put it down, and wherever you moved it to, it's still there, which for an Atari 2600 game is like, oh my god.
Yeah, you can even pick it up from different directions.
Oh yeah. And you can only carry one thing at a time, and that's the entirety of this game. By the way, this is a sword, not an arrow. And you're about to see the best thing of the entire game. If I can find him... Oh, that's a dragon. Dragon.
Yay.
The infamous duck.
You just stabbed the hell out of... Nope. That's dragon sex for you.
Well done.
Oh, shit, did I run into him the wrong way? No, he died. Okay, got it. So, yeah, that's... You use your sword to kill dragons.
Well done.
There's only 2 dragons in this version, because version 1 is easy mode, so we killed 2 dragons so we can get through here without having to be chased by dragons. I'm not going to pretend to be good at any of these games, but I did do a playthrough of each one of these until I got it. This little thing here, that's a bridge, which allows you to cross through walls.
Yeah.
Exciting, right?
Yay.
That's a magnet. And things are attracted to the magnet. Not very interesting. And this is the chalice. Yes, the Holy Grail. And your objective in adventure is to bring the Grail to the starting palace, the little yellow place. And that is really the entirety of adventure. The first mode is easy mode to teach you how you win.
I see.
Yep.
Capture the flag.
That's it.
A little bit.
And we've already won. And this is the only time we're actually going to win anything in this playthrough, because the other 2 games here, Pitfall actually doesn't really have an ending, and then the other one
Is
the other one. But let's try this on difficulty 2.
What
is that?
That is the bat. Bats are jerks. want to try to grab whatever item you have, and apparently I've grabbed the bat and the sword at the same time.
Awesome.
Bat
sword.
Yes.
And I think the dragon ate me.
No. Yep, you are inside of a dragon with bat and a sword.
Is the dragon wielding the bat sword?
Yes, that is what is happening right now. This is Adventureception. Thanks for playing.
So that's I can't quite beat 2, and we apparently have a bat sword. That's pretty fantastic. Wait, wasn't there a dragon here before?
There was.
There
That
was.
rather strange.
Oh, there he goes. Okay, so we've killed the dragon,
Stabbed him in the neck.
and now we are
Wait,
wielding
a bat dragon.
just what I've always wanted.
There is no way you can lose this game now with your bat dragon.
This works as all keys, bridges, everything. This room I kind of hate. This is supposed to be like a fog of war sort of thing going on, but
Oh, I see. I thought the game was just like glitching or crashing or something.
No, this is how it's supposed to look.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, exciting,
that
isn't it?
That is the ghost. You're in a cave with the Zubat.
Okay, I'm going to let go of the bat here, and hopefully he doesn't take my key from me. So we can grab the key and actually maybe enter the yellow castle, which I think we were at the start. And wait, how do I get to the yellow key?
It's over there.
I got the sword. Where did the yellow key go? I think the bat dropped the sword and went to get the yellow key.
He probably did.
That's a jerk move, bat.
He says that's what you get for using me as a bat sword.
You can't
Here's my
attack
iron
dragons
knight.
with a bat. So, alright, while the game I think has a lot of great things going for it, this is the game after a while is trying to like clusterfuck your way through this. Now, Challenge 2 is a more difficult setting, and then Challenge 3 is actually, I believe, random. So the dungeons kind of build themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah, which for, yet again, for 2600, there's a lot of really interesting, neat things going on.
Mhm.
But,
Did you just grab the bridge?
yes, you can grab the bridge to pass through any obstacle in the game.
Ah.
Which is actually the only way to get the infamous Easter egg for the...
I was gonna ask if we were gonna show that.
I'm not good enough at the game to actually get it. We can talk about it, but getting it is difficult, especially with bat key.
Bat key.
Can I
I
not?
kind of feel like the only way to truly win at this game is to just like Katamari everything together and just have like a dragon bat key sword bridge by the end of the game.
That's one way to win the game. Yeah, they're actually
It's the amazing way to win the game.
Where did I drop the sword? Wait, where am I? I'm in blue with
Nobody
shade of
knows.
black.
You are in a twisty little maze of passages, all different.
You know where you are, Travis? You are lost.
I'm in the jungle. Prepare to die. But yeah, it had the first ever Easter egg in the game, which the original developer, like back in the day, you couldn't put your name in your game, right?
Mhm.
So he put it in there as an Easter egg. You have to use this bridge in order to find a single pixel that is somehow you can pick up, and then you have to bring it with 3 other items back to the blue area and use those. In the actual, I'll put in the doobly-doo down below. All of this is related back to the History of the World series that we did that I wrote out for the Atari. And yeah, there's a video from some guy, I forget who, I believe he called himself the Easter egg hunter, but he's not the Easter egg hunter you're thinking of, a different Easter egg hunter.
I believe he called himself some guy.
Yeah,
Who is an Easter egg hunter?
perhaps he is internet famous, I don't know, but I've never heard of the dude before, so, but good on him. He apparently hunts Easter eggs, and he did a video on finding the Easter egg for this, and finding the name is actually interesting because, okay, so these guys actually programmed for Atari itself, and they got so angry about the fact that, one, I should be making a lot more money for this because you guys aren't selling new you've already finished building the console. All the money you're making is coming from us. And number two, we can't make any fame for it because we can't put our name down, so nobody will ever know that I did this. I can put it on a resume, but who's to say I didn't make up the fact that I did this game? So
my name's not on it.
Exactly. So they all said, screw you guys, and they made Activision.
Woo!
But that's why the Easter egg in this is actually fairly important, and I'm not... Wait, white key.
Oh,
There it is.
You got the key.
Now to find the castle.
Find his way out.
That's black. Black and white
that's
obviously
not
never gets
white.
along. No. Nope. Racism existed in the 80s, by the way. So,
You were really going there.
we don't still have this in the 2010s, but back then racism still existed, and this is obviously a mention of racism as it existed back in the day. So, there's a little bit of cultural understanding that came from
There's
this game.
allegory going on for the racisms.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It really introduced the first storytelling aspect to games, and I'm not finding where the white key goes anytime soon. So rather than fucking around and just seeing if I can actually find anything of importance, let's move on.
We're in the maze. Hey, look, there's a white wall.
So
Just as you leave.
That's how you win the game.
the only way to win the game is
Hang on.
quit. So the people that made Adventure moved on to Pitfall
Yeah, buddy.
and formed Activision. Now, everything about Pitfall is there's a pit, and you move around and you find gold. But it was made by Activision, and is regarded as like one of the best games for the Atari 2600. Myself, I think the arcade ports are a little bit more fun. But this is certainly a thing.
I thought you were going to say, and the gist of the game is that there's a pit and then you fall in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Occasionally, yes.
Yeah, sometimes you fall in the pit, sometimes you don't fall in the pit. Just really depends on how you're feeling that day. I also think it's supposed to be a Tarzan screen as you're swinging across the vine, and
And then you fell in the water with the alligators.
yes.
And now you are down to one man's.
Dang it! You can
You
only...
did not jump fast enough.
Wow. Okay.
You didn't have to kill yourself. I mean, gosh, you're not that bad.
Yeah, that was not my best playthrough of this ever. But, yeah, you can only stand on the very head of the alligators and when their mouth is open. So you have to time your jumps on them very carefully, and I'm not particularly good at the alligator portions. Or the barrel portions, but... Wait. Those can kill you?
Or the any portion.
Yeah.
The barrels just make you trip and lose a little bit of time. That's all they're really there for. But there is no win scenario in this game either, and Jesus!
I was
Just keep
wondering
getting
if
way too close.
that particular hole caused you to fall down to the bottom or just killed you, and well, now I have my answer.
It should be just fall
Yes,
down
you
to the
do.
bottom, I believe. No? Okay.
Nope,
Nope.
apparently not.
That is a
now we
tar
know
pit.
for certain.
Ah,
Tar pit. You are now preserved for all eternity. You are going to be a mummy. Enjoy it.
you're making some sort of crazy sense here, Josh. I can't believe it.
It's the jujubes. They give me powers.
Jujubes give powers, they just make me nap. That's really about it.
Different strokes, different folks.
I love that Tarzan yell. It's like my favorite part of this entire game. It's so silly, out of place, and amazing.
Is it really out of place?
Nothing is technically out of place on the Atari 2600. Except my inability to play the 2600.
That's kind of a running theme for everybody, though. So don't beat yourself up too much about it.
Wait. Oh my god, we made it past the alligators.
You did.
Hooray!
Congratulations.
No, made it past those alligators.
We might actually collect a piece of treasure.
Hooray!
But there is no real win game scenario to Pitfall. There is only how much money you can make. and there's something like 20,000 points worth of money that you can find, and you get 20 minutes to do it. So if you're particularly good at the game, you can try to speedrun it. How was I supposed to know that was going to turn into water?
Surprise.
We didn't want to tell you, but we brought quicksand over for your birthday. Congratulations. Also, if you use the tunnels down there, you can actually proceed much faster, and I just jumped straight into that alligator's mouth and killed myself.
Looked hungry.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah, the pits are actually like a shortcut, right? So for every, 3 screens, you're technically traversing 4 screens, but it's really hard to jump over that scorpion down there because he moves with you.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Scorpion's a dick.
It's a trade-off. Oh, also, you can move left.
But why would you want to?
And
traded
die.
I like that it drops you on the left-hand side of the screen. So it's like, oh, here's an easy way to get past this screen. Just die once.
You only have to do it once. The barrels also move at exactly the same speed as Pitfall Harry, which is apparently his name.
Yep.
Which, okay, it's nice to actually have some sort of theming, and, they actually named the characters and did some amount of thoughts. By the way, that fire, I'm pretty sure is, if you ever play the Bit Trip games, they tend to use that in the, classic stages. So that's a kind of a dorky thing to make mention of.
Going left seems to be, they give you a lot more ropes to swing on.
I'm pretty sure this is, the easier path to... Because every, path to victory I've seen has gone left, rather than right.
There's also the fact that the barrels still go from right to left, meaning you can just run with them instead of jumping over them multiple times.
But see, having grown up on Mario and Sonic, I don't understand this concept of run left to win.
Of left?
Yeah, what? No, I'm supposed to run right. That's what everything has taught me. Are my skills for nothing? Also, just screen and frickin' screen of no prize.
Oh, here you go. Oh, well.
See, I'm thinking now. I used my wits in order to pass that.
It's respawn points.
Oh, there you go.
Good money.
Oop.
Past the tar pit. But this was totally the height of the entertainments back in the... What was this, 81, 82 release?
Roughly.
Which blows my mind.
I just remember always when I would go to a certain friend's house, he had one he had Pitfall and I think the circus game. And he would never let me play. And it was always so sad.
See, but the NES came out not long after this, and has a lot to do with the very quick decline of the 2600. That the consoles that came out very shortly after it were so much prettier.
Yup.
Actually, I forget it was a 2600 or 5200. I had one of the Atari systems as a kid, but it was missing a cable or something. And I was a kid and I didn't know what to do about that, so I never actually played it. I don't actually know what happened to it. I think I had Breakout as one of the games.
It could have been the 5200, which had a ridiculously short shelf life in comparison to the 2600, so it's... I'm probably not going to cover much about... I devoted a whole paragraph into the article on Atari to the 5200 because it sold 8 million units, and... Yeah, while it was sort of a thing in Europe, the Nintendo Entertainment System kind of overpassed it so quickly that it's hard to really say anything interesting about the 5200 other than that was a thing.
Basically.
I hate alligators. I hate them.
You can't burn a life to get past this one.
I want to burn a life anyway. Just whether or not I get past them is a question. And we're done.
You tripped on the snow.
Just over my own 2 feet. That's
pratfall
fantastic.
worthy of Ernest.
I considered getting Indiana Jones for this series, but first off, you have to use 2 controllers, and Atari emulation. I read a little bit on how the Atari 2600 actually worked, and Graves, you're a smarter man than I am, and you might actually understand all that crap. But reading over it, I just kind of went, oh, I don't like any of this, and you have to use a second controller in order to do that, and then I have to have like another setup going on here at the same time, and just no. And that's why the 2600 emulator looks so snazzy, is because it's so complicated. It's more complicated to emulate a 2600 than it is to emulate like a GameCube or something, because the GameCube is closer to modern programming language. Meanwhile, this is all assembly stuff going on.
Yeah, see, that sounds like even if I could understand that, I would go, no, that's too much work.
Yep, nope.
Exactly. No one wants to program a 2600, and like there's one 5200 emulator that I couldn't even get to work properly. So another reason to completely skip over the 5200, but
Hey, look, ET.
So can I talk about this for a minute? Can I talk about ET?
Yeah, you go ahead. You tell a story, and we'll sit here and I'll tell you what. You do that. I'm going to play Millipede.
As we play Millipede.
Here's the thing about ET. ET, despite all of the shit that we're gonna give it, which I'm assuming we're gonna give it, it's worthy of it.
Absolutely.
ET was actually one of the best-selling 2600 titles, believe it or not. It sold something to the amount of, I want to say, 1.5 million units.
Yes.
It was on Billboard magazine's top 15 video games, I want to say, for late 82, early 83, like right before the crash of 83. The problem with ET is that they produced, I want to say, something to the tune of approximately, and Travis, you might have the numbers on this, something like 3 million cartridges.
Yeah, they don't have an exact number, but somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 million, whereas I sold 1.5.
So one of the reasons, putting aside the gameplay and the development for a moment, that it was such a poor loss for Atari, is that between the production of cartridges that went unsold, the really expensive movie license, because this is one of the first, if not the first game to incorporate a movie license, and the large amount of return to people who were disappointed in it, Atari grossed something to the tune of 25 million in sales, but their net loss was 100 million due to overproduction. So it basically was what caused the ruination, if you will, of Atari. And here's the thing about ET that I think a lot of people don't realize as well. The developer of ET, Howard Scott Warshaw, he's the gentleman that also created Yard's Revenge. He had 5 weeks to put this game together. So in all fairness, for a game that had, just a 5-week development time, and you're including everything from whatever little testing you can get done, which there was no audience reception, by the way, which is critical testing, I believe, Travis?
Yeah, there was absolutely no testing other than, does it work? Does it pass quality assurance? Cool.
Yeah.
Push it out the door.
So between just all of that, him doing the majority, if not all of the programming, things like that, 5 weeks, you have to give him kind of some leeway, at least in my opinion, because it was a very, very difficult thing to do, especially even back then. Like, you didn't really make games in that short amount of time. It usually took, anywhere from 5 to 12 months, depending on the game and then how much resources you needed. So, that all being said, E.T. is still one of the worst games ever made. I don't think that's hypeable. It's legitimately a piece of shit. But you also have to take into account all those other things if you were to ever go back and play it, which we're going to be doing tonight. So,
Yeah,
that's my spiel on ET.
going to lower the audio on that because it's a little bit loud on that little sound menu, but I have to say there's a lot of love that he obviously put into it. Like, it's the first time I can say in an Atari 2600 game I have figured out what the theme actually is supposed to be.
You tried really hard, and that's when they stopped trying.
And I mean, like, for like a splash screen of the 2600, it's somewhat decent looking. We're going to set it on difficulty 3 because that's the easiest difficulty. And normally there's scientists that chase you the entire way. But he just buggered off, as you can tell. So this is ET for the 2600. You just kind of wander around. And there's holes. And that's ET for the 2600. Now, there are actual gameplay elements to it. You may notice at the top, there's like little things going on, little arrows. That's the context-sensitive menu. I fell in a fucking hole again. This is going to be a theme here, that I fell into a hole, and I have to get out of the hole. And getting out of a hole is not as simple as you might think. Okay, so when you see a question mark, you hit the thing, and it tells you if there's a piece of a phone around. And apparently there are no phones on that screen. But we have to gather pieces of phone in order for E.T. to escape. And then this is a forest. And we also collect... Well, first off, we fall into a hole again.
See, the biggest problem with this game, as far as I can tell, was the fact that he totally went against what Spielberg wanted, which is another issue that Travis said I think you can also comment on. On top of that, he kept adding elements to make the game even more difficult, and he just kept adding things like the pits and the pieces of foam, which you can rarely find in comparison to the massive amount of pits. To the point where I think critical reception was pretty goddamn awful, to be honest.
Yeah, he kept adding more and more things to it because he wanted to be like... He wanted to make a Gone Home type of experience where you're feeling the emotions of E.T. because it's so hard to find your way home. Yeah, it's a desperate struggle, but instead you're just annoyed.
Yeah, that's the thing. The problem is that it turned out to be such a terribly contrived story and gameplay. You know, it didn't work out. It was very ambitious, but it just didn't do what it was meant to do, and unfortunately, that's why it is rather, I guess the word is infamous.
Yeah, it doesn't do much of anything interesting. I mean, while there is certainly gameplay to it, and once you figure it out, it's a little bit more fun than just trying to poke your nose around. But the more likely chance than anything is you're just going to keep dying until you figure out what it is you're doing, and... Yeah, there's nothing fun about that, especially using the context menu, like, okay, so I can move over to this next screen, which is great until you move to the next screen and you automatically fall into a pit. And falling into a pit loses time for you, as well as getting out of the pit loses yet more time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like Pitfall or other games that we've showcased so far where you can actively avoid the obstacles. There's some way of you dodging or getting out of the way. No, it's just there's no indication that you're gonna fall into a pit until you fall down. So it takes away that sense that the player has some agency to really control their world. Like it's when you incorporate random obstacles like that with absolutely no way of avoiding them, that was a huge problem.
Well,
and
like,
as you can tell, it still kind of is.
This is a pit, so I walked like straight into that. The darker areas are pits, but you want to try to move around as much as you can using the context menu. As well, the screens just don't look any different, so you never particularly know where you're going. And yeah, you have to wander around aimlessly in order to find the context-sensitive menu, which allows you to search for the foam pieces, which... The foam pieces you have to fall down the fucking pits in order to get into, and leaving the pit is, once you get like really used to leaving pits, it's not as hard, but
See, maybe it's lagging on my end then, because it's showing me that you're going over the light green areas, and you're falling in regardless. So it just looks like there's random pits.
here's the thing: the hitbox on the pits are really bad.
Okay.
Just really, really bad. So like, it looks like Cheetahman bad.
Then I retract my statement about not
Cheetah
being
Man.
able to avoid them, because you still can't.
Yeah, you still can't quite avoid the pits. And as well, if we had the little context-sensitive menu that looks like a little face that's yelling, I could trade in the little dots are actually Reese's Pieces, and I've collected 9. So if I found Elliot, I could trade in my Reese's Pieces. But instead, I'm just going to go home and die. Because we're just not
4,
finding in this run.
3, 2, 1.
And then Elliot comes in and brings us back to life. So we can do it all over again.
Isn't this exciting?
I never realized how much Elliot looks like Ernie. With his striped shirt and his orange skin and black hair.
Also, if I found all the foam pieces, it'd say like ET, I believe, at the top. And then right here is where I'd actually hit the button to return to the spaceship and fly back home. But, man, I would have to fall into every pit in the frickin' game at this point, because there's only one context-sensitive area that told me that there are pieces, and it said there are no pieces that I could find. And Elliot is apparently magical. Did you see how he flew down the pit?
Mm-hmm.
I want to play as him instead.
Yeah, apparently he can bring you back to life, which I don't remember from the movie.
I don't either. Well, there was the moment when when E.T.'s all terrible, disgusting, peeling white in the whole science-y bit, when he's all quarantined.
Yeah.
And Elliot's like, no, don't die, E.T., and he's crying, and then E.T. comes back.
Which I suppose is what that's trying to emulate on some form or fashion, but it's just super unconvincing.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody get this far in ET.
I don't know if you can use the word this far, because we are so far from a winning.
Well, let's put it like this. I don't think I've ever seen anybody play this game longer than a minute before just throwing it away.
You know, oh look, we fell in a hole.
See, he's all white and disgusting.
We found a piece, but because we died when we fell in the hole, the piece goes somewhere else.
It's just taunting
Terrible.
you at this point.
I know, right?
Oh, did you want this piece? Too bad.
You're dead now.
Oh, Lord. I think the game is trying not to play anymore. There we go. The game is just like, why are you...
Emulators like, nah, I don't want to play this.
Like,
Like,
what are you doing? Why
Can
are we
we
still doing this?
can we go back to Centipede? I mean, I know it's bad, but it's better than this.
You mean Millipede?
Millipede.
Millipede, sir.
You're right. And I still have to say I like the game. I don't care. I enjoy it.
No, you sir are not Hollis.
No. Hollis was not a fan. I think that might actually be why he's not here. He made up that whole lie about actually going to visit his girlfriend.
And then you died again. You
Yep.
keep dying. I think you're playing it now just to see yourself. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was the failure screen. That E.T. turned white and flashy.
Has anybody actually ever beaten the game? Is my question.
Oh yeah, plenty of,
Yeah.
like, it's actually, if you, like, really, really get a good understanding of the game, you can beat it almost every time, especially on difficulty 3.
Well, why would you want to?
Yeah, here's the thing. You have to be a master of E.T. Is that anything anybody ever aspired to be?
About, like, hey guys, I fucking BDG.
Top men.
Guys, I did a min-max run of ET. I put it on Twitch.
That gets you all the ladies.
3 people watched it. As personal record. But
And that's where we never got any more viewers.
Yep.
I'm just gonna stay in
I'll
this
be
hole.
impressed if I'll be impressed if they have stuck it out this far. A minute of this is like, oh no more. Skip ahead. Skip ahead to the end. See if they're playing something else at the end.
No, there isn't.
No, all there is hole and sadness. This is the end of the video.
Yeah, this seems like a fitting end in the hole.
And it speaks volumes about the 2600. We're just going to end in a hole with 9,000 life left, but we just don't want to go on anymore. We're done.
We've given up.
And
ET is the metaphor for our life.
remember, if there's a game that we missed that you think we should review, I'll do another review of it. So put it in the doobly-doo down below if there's a 2600 game that I really should be recording. But other than that, that was this week's the What Are We Fighting For? Chris, thank you for filling in for Hollis. Wouldn't mind having you back again. And far less dick jokes in this one than the previous one, but we look forward to TV Dinner coming back with his dick jokes.
Yeah, well, continue, considering next week, I'm sure there will
We should just invite Chris
There will
back
be
anyway,
plenty
just so
of
we would
dicks.
have him going,
Yeah.
"Ah!" on the whole stream.
Well then.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, by the way, next week is going to be nothing but ET the whole time.
Yep.
All right, so I'm actually sick next week.
Okay, next week is the adult games on the Atari. So your Gigolo, your Beat 'em and Eat 'em, things along that line, and we're going to have actual conversations about how the Atari actually put itself forward as something for adults rather than just a children's toy, which the NES became. But that's next week.
Yep.
By the way, like, comment, or
Yep.
subscribe.
Do it now. Or we will continue to play E.T.
Oh God, please do it.
Alright, so if anyone's ever watched Northern Lion, how he has 700 episodes of The Binding of Isaac, that's going to be us with E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. We're just going to do E.T. runs from now on.
Well, Internet, it was good to know you.
Yep.
I'm going to somehow
By the
start
end
getting
of it,
negative
we will learn to kill
subscribers.
things with our tears.
YouTube's actually going to start paying me money not to put out videos.
That sounds like a lucrative opportunity.
No, I think I should do one more ET run. Oh. Well, here's $500. Please don't do it. I don't know. That's creative integrity you're putting on the line.
We promise not to put it in your Google Wallet. We will send you the actual money.
I think that's the best note to go out on. Alright, I'm
Good
done.
night, Internet.
Oh, dear.